The next free update for the Nintendo Switch sports game will add golf.
What?
This free update launches this holiday.
Huh? I'm so confused. What is happening?
You are now watching The Meech.
Demeech! Oh man, did you see that Nintendo Direct? That was one of the best Directs I've ever seen. We had JRPGs, we had some farming simulators, oh, and we had Mario Strikers. Oh yeah, we had Nintendo Switch Sports, and we had some Pikmin stuff. That was pretty okay.
Wait. JRPGs? You mean the entire Direct?
I wouldn't say it was the entire Direct.
Oh, I don't know. It's not every day you start off with Fire Emblem, and then you go into more JRPGs, and more JRPGs. You know, I was actually thinking, if I actually reacted to Directs, take a shot every time JRPG is in a Nintendo Direct. And then I think at that rate, I'd have blood in my alcohol system. That's how many JRPGs there were. And that would be a very, very, very dangerous thing to do, considering just how many of them there were. Now, I know you might be thinking, Petey, why don't I sound angry? Because, oh man, there's so much to talk about. Now, where's T&D?
You're just an ungrateful, you're an ungrateful, entitled needy.
Oh, shut up, I want T&D, not you. Get out of here, you shill. Ugh, good riddance. Something to do with a parrot, but nothing to do with the game. Oh man, so that Nintendo Direct was something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I delayed a run for it. Shouldn't
Yeah.
have done that.
Well, I got up earlier than usual for it, but at the same time, I mean, I would have watched it anyway. But, oh man. So, with this Nintendo Direct, we waited since the legendary, or should I say legendary, February 2022 Direct. And then, we get this. And, you know what? Let's just start off with the announcement that I was actually looking forward to the most. And we did get it, but what was actually revealed just made me laugh. So...
Oh yeah, that was the fun part. I mean, we got golf, guys, for Switch Sports, but wait, it's not coming out in the fall because they need a little bit more time.
How much time did they need? And if they needed the time, why did they release the game when it was clearly unfinished? It's not, no, I'll reiterate what I said in the thread. Switch Sports isn't unfinished, it's just incomplete. It just is it's a completely normal thing in a game development cycle to work on golf for nearly a year.
And then don't even get me started with Mario Strikers. They finally added a new battlefield. Oh yeah, and they of course added Pauline and Diddy Kong. Not that they shouldn't have been in the base roster in the first place.
You know, I'll play devil's advocate here. I will say if the planet, or I was gonna say planet, factually hit. I will say if it plays differently, then that could be something cool, but if it's like another shade of grass, I don't care. Although Pauline looks as excellent as ever, I was actually excited about that. And that's coming from a guy who does not like Mario Strikers Battle League in the slightest, so that's a hint right there that Pauline is a true one-up girl. But going back to golf,
Oh my god!
I can't get over the fact that, first of all, golf is coming in the winter. The fact that was coming in the fall is just insane. Or it was coming in the fall. And I'm all for a delayed game is eventually good, but come on, Switch Sports was never good to begin with. Who is going to come back to the game in droves for golf in the winter? Oh my gosh.
Trust me, some people know what they're talking about, so they will
Who,
come back.
Well, he must know what he's talking about. You know what? Actually, the only one who's going to do that is good old Cody on his couch. You know, he literally did a live stream where he was playing Nintendo Switch Sports, just plopped on his couch, not even getting up to play the game. And I'm like, what more fitting of a way to play the game, playing a lazy game lazily. To be fair, I did play Switch Sports sitting down, where I had a Joy-Con in one hand and was eating Funyuns with the other, but we could laugh about this all day, but I do think it's hilarious. You know what?
I mean, yeah.
I'm actually kind of glad Nintendo Switch Sports happened, because I've never seen such a funny game from Nintendo, or such a meme until now. We've had stuff like Metroid Prime Federation Force, but that was mostly rage. But,
yeah.
First of all, let's just take a look at it. It's Wii Sports. How do you screw up Wii Sports? I don't even know how you would do that, but what was your reaction when they revealed golf? Like when they announced Nintendo Switch Sports and then they showcased the sportsmates playing golf, and then what was your reaction? Because I know you were laughing about it, but just what was going on? What sunk in when you watched that?
I just laughed at the fact that they delayed it. I mean, something that was a pack-in feature with the original Wii Sports is something that has to be delayed till the winter time. And I mean, it's a recurring theme throughout the Direct of just updating games that already exist. I mean, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but like
Well,
Mario,
it's good because I stay interested.
I mean, you know, Mario Kart, Mario Strikers. What else did they add
Splatoon
updates?
3 for the
Splatoon
Splatfest.
3.
Your favorite game?
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't give a rat's behind about Splatoon. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it though, but like, what a waste of time. Why don't we talk about the few positives that we have about it though?
Yeah, sure. So the Mario Kart DLC, I think that it looks phenomenal. I noticed that there was a lot better attention to detail when it came to the visual presentation, which I kind of expected considering the quality of Wave 2. Merry Mountain looks incredible. It is just so cool seeing that track in an actual game. And I think they're doing something with anti-gravity. And the remake of Peach's Garden, it actually looks like a Mario Kart 8 track. Not quite as excellent as the base tracks, but very, very, very close. And when you're driving through it, you're not even going to notice. But good stuff with the Mario Kart DLC. And, whoa, Dimitri is actually talking positive about it? Well, I'll tell you what, how often do you get a Christmas-themed track in a Mario Kart game? And I know it's in Tour, but I can play it anytime now. I can play it during the Christmas season. I'm always looking for Christmas games. So, that was awesome. I just hope they include some of the cool costumes from Tour. So, I was very excited about that. And I definitely am planning some Christmas specials this season. That is something I haven't done in a while. But I love Halloween. I love Christmas. I even love Thanksgiving. So I definitely want to do more stuff with those holidays on the channel. But, you know, that was definitely a positive. That was actually one of the highlights. Of course, let's just get into the elephant in the room. Any of the farming simulators and JRPGs, so good. No, I'm kidding. Pikmin! Pikmin Bloom is incredible. I am so excited that they showcase more information about a game that already released. And, you know, they're really giving Blizzard some competition. Do you guys not have phones? Yeah, we have phones. We're watching the Direct on it. And if we could still dislike YouTube videos, we would dislike it from there. But no, they actually revealed Pikmin 4, which this time around is actually near completion. So that is good news. I wish they showed more gameplay of it. I don't understand why they only showcased a few, like, footage. Like stuff they would use for promotional material, but it looks cool. I like how the setting's kind of like a backyard. I do find it a little bit odd that the only pilot showcase was Brittany, and not Olimar or Louie or Charlie and Alf. That was a little bit weird. I was expecting a new one.
I'm kind of confused at the fact that what is the story of the game, because it looks like we're in a backyard now.
Well, with Pikmin, it takes place after civilization is long gone.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a very casual Pikmin fan. I like Pikmin 3. So, I mean, this looks cool, and it's a cool announcement. I know people have been asking for it for a while, and it looks like it'll be coming really soon.
Well, 2023. But yeah, that's great news. I am a huge fan of the Pikmin series, so this was a major announcement for me. And going into Nintendo Directs, you know, at this point, I've just kind of given up hope on Nintendo. They're just completely... Yeah, they've lost me, pretty much. So I just go in with the announcement. You know, if one announcement's cool, you know, hey, that's nice. But I definitely understand why people are disappointed. I'm a little disappointed, but if this was before, when I was really, really into Nintendo, like, I would say, if this happened in 2019, I mean, it kind of did with that September Direct, which only revealed the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition thing, then I would probably be more disappointed, but, you know, they revealed Pikmin 4, and I wish they showed more of it, but I trust Miyamoto's judgment. And as much as people think I'll say any Nintendo game will be ruined with free updates, it doesn't affect the single-player games, really. The only case for that would be Kirby Star Allies, which was kind of a gray area. But looking back, I don't think the game was unfinished. I just think it was a bad game. And I know some might disagree with me there, and I'm fine with that. But I just did not like the game. I didn't like the level design. But what I did like the level design in is Kirby's Return to Dreamland. I wonder if we could ever get a remake of that. Oh, wait, we did. That was unexpected, but also very cool. What do you think
Yeah,
about it?
what an odd Kirby game to remake. I'm sorry. Like, I think it's fine. It's not my favorite Kirby game. I honestly think it's one of the blander titles. I do like the new cell shaded look for it. It looks like there's some new quality of life improvements with like the classic mini games. King Dedede looks like he has kind of a design overhaul. Um, yeah, it looks fine. I hope it's not $60.
Well, you know what? In this case, it's an actual remake. Though, as cool as the cel-shaded outline style is, I do think that it'd be nice to have the option to turn that off just for options. Kind of like, you remember in Smash for 3DS where the characters could have outlines?
Yeah, you
But
could turn them off.
I think that, oh, so I just saw that there might be new content. Magalore Castle, or the theme park, is in the background of the box art. So this could actually be a deluxe remake, but you know, it's a remake of a Kirby game that you said is a little bit bland, but that's kind of what I want to see from a remake. I want to see remakes of games that could be improved upon. And they're already introducing some new copy abilities and stuff, like the mech from Robobot has an inspired copy ability, so that's neat. And also,
I guess I'm just kind of sick of 2D Kirby at this point, especially after Forgotten Land. But yeah, it's cool.
I mean, in this case, it's a remake, and I'm definitely all for it. So, just going over some of the highlights, we got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC Wave 3, looks fantastic. We got Pikmin 4, which was a big deal. That's a big deal for me, and that is probably the reason why I can laugh about a lot of this stuff in the Direct. We got the Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, which, that was exciting. It was a surprise, but you know what? I'm all for it. Golf made me laugh my butt off, which was hilarious. I actually found that to be a good announcement simply because of the joy it had me with just laughing completely out of my mind.
On the hindsight, at least you have more time to do that second part of the review.
No, I have an idea for that fall video, but
Oh
man,
man,
the fact that they couldn't even finish it for the fall, how pathetic. That is just embarrassing.
Speaking of falling, we got some Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 news, and we finally have a title. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and it's coming out May 2023. So I would say 6 years after, Jesus Christ, Breath of the Wild came out.
Yeah, I found it a little bit odd that an asset reusing sequel took this long, but you know what? I trust Anuma's judgment. I'm all for it. Looks great, but I did
Yeah.
find it a bit odd that they ended off on something we already knew about. This seems like something they would just have towards the middle of the Direct, where they updated it on, or like middle to end of the Direct. A final announcement, I would assume, would go to a new game, but you know
I
what?
would have
Cool, we
I
got
would've-
confirmation regardless.
Yeah, I would have started it honestly with Tears of the Kingdom, and I would have ended it with Pikmin 4. But to be fair, with Pikmin 4, we didn't even really get a proper trailer.
Yeah, it was just a teaser, but just confirmation after saying it was near completion for, what, since 2015? You know, I'll take what I can get at this point, and that's just kind of the state when it comes to Nintendo, but I had one question during this Nintendo Direct. Who is directing these Nintendo Directs? Because the pacing was awful. Like, I'm not going to beat around the bush.
It's awful.
Yeah, the pacing. Who's doing this? Okay, so first off, they have partner showcases, which are supposed to showcase third-party games, hence the term partner showcase. And that last partner showcase was, oddly enough, fantastic. Not Pikmin, Pac-Man. Pac-Man, Pikmin. Why are my favorite series Pac-Man, Pikmin, Pokemon, although Pokemon not so much anymore, but we're not going to get into that right now. But Pac-Man World Repack, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. That was a great Direct. And they had a lot of great announcements. And
Even
you know what I noticed? Or go on?
what? I was just gonna say that even the Mario and Rabbids announcement today was kind of like bland. I mean, I know they just announced it, but it would have been cool to at least see a little bit of Rayman besides
Yeah.
that teaser.
I'd agree with you there, but intentionally don't look at footage of that game just because I like to go in blind. I will look at
Yeah.
trailers if I'm gonna make a video about a game because I need to know what I'm talking about, but at the same
Well,
time,
he clearly knows what he's talking about.
well, he must know what he's talking about, obviously. So, you know, just the pacing is horrible. You start
Yeah.
off with Fire Emblem, and I know Fire Emblem, it's made a comeback. Thankfully, the series did not end on the 3DS, but come on. I know
Yeah.
Three Houses sold well, but it's still relatively niche in the grand scheme of things. And,
You
you
know.
know, it looks like a quality game,
Mhm.
but when you just top that off with very similar looking games, I know they're different games, but when you have so many of the same games, could you imagine if they just had a Nintendo Direct with rhythm games? Like it was just, first off, we're gonna announce Taiko. Actually, I'd kind of like that, simply because we need more rhythm games. Okay,
I
what is another oversaturated genre? 2D platformers. If it was just a Direct with 2D platformer after 2D platformer, when you oversaturate the same genre over and over and over and over and over again, then it's
mhm.
not exciting. It becomes boring.
I mean, here's my thing. I don't understand why Nintendo just doesn't do like. Well, they kind of do. That's that. So why don't they? I wish that they would do more like just first party showcases, just purely first party from their studios. They've done it a long time ago. But to be fair, the Wii U didn't really have a lot of third party things, and we have partner showcases for a reason. I mean, the the partner showcase from this summer was excellent, and we knew exactly what to expect. Third party games, that was great. I mean, I'm not going to be excited for a regular Nintendo Direct when it's just mainly third party games. When I'm kind of looking for, I'm sorry to say, but like if you say it's a regular Nintendo Direct, I expect some like cool announcements first party wise, and we did get that, but like it was few and far between compared to like the majority that we got.
And like I said, Pikmin 4 was an exciting announcement, but that's one game. Let's take a
Yeah.
look at what we got other than that. We got. Alright, let's see. We got Fire Emblem Engage. What's keeping you engaged? I'll tell you what, not 1,000 freaking JRPGs. Then we got Pikmin 4. Big announcement there, no denying that. But other than Pikmin 4, we just got confirmation of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which I'm gonna need to get used to that after calling it Breath of the Wild 2 for the longest time.
Yeah.
And what else did we get? We got the remake of Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which is cool. But for me
Oh,
personally, it's only
yeah.
two announcements that stood out. And you know, I mean it's disappointing. I can see why many are disappointed about it. But
I so
man,
I think we forgot to mention GoldenEye is finally coming to N64
yeah,
online,
here's the
which
thing with the 64 online stuff. I could care less. I don't even have the expansion
I
pass.
I
Oh,
could
but I had a
I
gift card.
I could too, but GoldenEye is kind of a big deal,
Yeah,
especially especially since it's a rare game and GoldenEye hasn't been re-released in years. So the fact that game's coming to Switch Online, I think that's cool, and there's online multiplayer with that game too. Now, I also think it's kind of cool that the first three Mario parties are coming to Nintendo 64 Online.
oh,
And
I
we got
agree with you there. But
and
here
Excitebike 64 too, because that's kind of a rare one.
Here's what I
Uh,
don't like about that though. Why do they feel the need to just drop them in waves? Like, oh, we're getting,
that's
oh,
yeah,
I can't wait to look forward to playing a
that,
game that's already announced and is already an actual game. Like, damn,
that's
just release them all at once.
that's my big issue with it. Like they don't give you a concrete release date. They just say sometime in 2022, sometime in 2023. Why? Because they're lazy. I'm sorry, but like that's what it is. Like
No, they
it
just
does
do that to have like the Twitter engagement or whatever it is. Like, oh my
does
gosh, they added, oh, GoldenEye, they added, Excitebike, they
it
added Sculptor's Cut. That'd actually be cool, because that is
but
actually a very, very rare game.
it doesn't take that long to emulate those games, you know? And also to all those people that who thought that a Game Boy Advance was going to be a Switch Online thing. Wah, wah, wah.
Well, there goes pretty much everything. I mean, it's just like I did some predictions, and you know, I'm not surprised that they were wrong. But
I
let's
mean,
see. We only
I
got
mean,
one of them right. The golf
I mean,
update got more information, and that's it. But I think that is actually a good way to end things off. Just
yeah.
recap
I
your thoughts on it. I'll recap mine. But
I
overall,
mean, overall, I thought it was kind of crap. aside from like a few announcements that were like bright spots. But Pikmin's not one of my favorite franchises. I'm going to be honest. So,
And I
I
do
mean,
understand that. It definitely is not one of Nintendo's huge series in terms of just numbers. I think it
no,
could be with the right marketing
it
and
could.
such, but at this point,
I,
even as I'm a huge Pikmin fan, I will admit it's not something that would be a heavy hitter like Mario or Donkey Kong or, anything like
yeah.
that.
And I'm not saying they had to reveal anything to that magnitude, but man, it would be so cool to just see some more first party games from Nintendo. They've been so silent in the Switch era. Like they've just been letting all the third party games talk for them, and like good for them. It's like a good like turn from what the Wii U era was. But like
I feel like we have the reverse problem though.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. Yeah, but here's my issue. Um, I'm planning on getting an Xbox Series X, and it's nothing against Nintendo or anything, but I got a Nintendo Switch to play first party Nintendo games, right? And if I could play my third party games on a better console, hell, I could play it on my Steam Deck if I eventually get one. I'm not trying to sound like, dismissive of the Switch, but like,
Pretendo
guys,
dismisses and fails to claim the Switch is the worst console of the generation.
but guys, like, this console still runs games at 30 frames, maybe even less, 720p. Like I know it's not about power sometimes, but like some of these third-party games look like crap compared to other consoles, and like I'll still play Nintendo games, but like at this point, the Switch for me is I really only use it for first party Nintendo games. And like the most recent third party game I got was Pac-Man World Repack on it, just because it's the most convenient console I have right now. But once I get an Xbox, I mean, most of the third party games I'll get will be on that system, unless like I have an urge to bring it on the go and I don't have a Steam Deck yet. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked there. It was kind of a meh direct. I mean, I like that Return to Dreamland is coming back, but it was never one of my favorites. Pikmin 4 is cool. The Zelda stuff was cool, I guess. I honestly would love to see a new 2D Zelda, but I know that's
Well,
probably way.
Nintendo doesn't know how to make games.
Well, they clearly know what they're doing, but yeah, I still think that we're gonna get a 2D Mario and the new Donkey Kong game eventually. I think it's like what you said; it's a matter of when, not if.
But I just don't understand it. Why go so long without revealing anything, only to reveal
They
Pikmin
tend
4 and Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe
they
and the
tend
Fire
to
Emblem thing?
they tend to sit on games that are already finished just to like maximize on when would be the best time to release it. And like I get it, but
Yeah, but
I mean
considering it's a
there are
current gen
huge
console still, you gotta have a solid lineup to look forward to. And like you said, with the Switch specifically, I have an Xbox Series X. I mainly play on Switch simply because I have more games on it, and I can play it on the go, which was actually very nice for Pac-Man World Repack, because I beat that
yeah, I
game
will.
on a vacation, so I was excited about that. But if you don't like the third-party games and you're expecting those big first-party Nintendo games, then I don't know what to tell you, because without the third-party games, I don't think my Switch would even be touched, because the games are so
No,
few and far between. We're literally in
the
one
last
of the year or the fifth year of the Switch, and the only Christmas title we got is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And how many Pokemon games
to
do we
be
need a year?
well, we get one each year, but like
Yeah, but three in the
to
span
be
of a
on,
year? That's insane. And
well,
not in a good way.
I think yeah. To be honest, I think we're in a transitioning era for the Switch. I think we're on the precipice of getting an upgraded Switch. To what extent, I have no idea. But the Wii U kind of slowed down like this after a while too. I mean, we knew that the Wii U was
Yeah,
dead
but
by
here was
that
the
time.
thing. The Wii U was pretty much a lost cause by 2016. The Switch is the most popular console of this gaming generation.
Well,
Why does
they don't have to make like a completely new console. They could just make it. They could call it like it could still be a Switch. Like
Yeah, maybe go the
remember
Game Boy Color route.
Yeah, or like the DS route where it was DS, 3DS. They could do Switch and the Super Switch.
Yeah,
Whatever.
but you know what? I
But
think we'll just end things off by saying this. Nintendo Switch is the most popular game console of this generation, hands down. The fact that Nintendo has gotten so arrogant where they feel the need that they only need to reveal 2 to 3 games for the foreseeable future that are new is just insane. And the reason why it happens? Because you'll have countless shills defending whatever they do. There's a bunch of terms like ungrateful and entitled thrown around for those who are critical of what Nintendo is doing. We're critical because we love Nintendo games. We're critical because we want to play more of their amazing games. And the fact that they're putting games out at a snail's pace is just incredibly disappointing. And I hope
yeah,
that Nintendo eventually recovers and goes back to their former glory. But in the meantime, it's disappointing, man.